Yo, what up? Welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to do matchups. I'm going to do wide receiver matchups, running back matchups, quarterback matchups, and I'm even going to touch on tight end matchups. The source I'm going to be using is PFF, Pro Football Focus, and I don't even know if there's a proper way to cite it or if I'm even allowed to be using it or what, but I'm just going to go with it for right now. And the way they fetch their data is they look at snaps for every single play of every single game, and they look at a multitude of different stats to put their projections together. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this format the same each week, where I go over the best possible matchups and then a few sleeper picks, but that's what I'm going to roll with for right now. So first, let's look at the top 5 wide receiver matchups for week 8. At 1 and 2, we have Hill and Jalen Waddle against the Patriots defense, best 1-2 punch in the league. Third, we have Brandon Ayuk against the Bengals. Fourth, we have Nico Collins against the Panthers. And fifth, we have Zay Flowers against the Cardinals. And now we're going to look at the top 5 individual matchups, which is the wide receiver versus the cornerback. First, we have Tyreek Hill against J.C. Jackson of the Patriots, and he's going to be first probably nearly every week just because he's been literally burning every D-back no matter what team he's playing against. Second, we have Nico Collins against Panthers CJ Henderson. Third, we have Chris Olave versus Baker Jr. of the Colts. Fourth, we have DJ Moore against Michael Davis of the Chargers. And fifth, we have Jalen Waddle against J.C. Jackson. Now we'll look at the top 5 tight end matchups of the week, and that's going to be the tight ends going against the linebackers. It's 4 of the alpha tight ends that you would expect, and then Gerald Everett in there as well. So you have Travis Kelce, Gerald Everett, Mark Andrews, George Kittle, and TJ Hawkinson. Now I'm going to go over some sleeper picks of the week, and this is more so players you aren't really sure if you want to put them in. So this would be like the Zay Flowers and the Christian Kirks of the week, where you're not really sure if you want to put them in. They're kind of like a flex player. And they're not going to be players like Tyreek Hill and Cooper Kupp. Those are just auto starts every week no matter what. And they're so good that you might even play them when they're on a bye. First, I'm going to do my quarterback sleepers for this week. I'm going to do 3 for this week. I'm not really sure how that's going to pan out in the future. My first pick is going to be Kenny Pickett against the Jaguars. The Jaguars are second worst on average in pass yards allowed, and the Jaguars are 8th worst opponent rank, which means they've given up 8th most points to quarterbacks. My second quarterback pick is going to be Derek Carr, and I hate him. He hasn't been playing with any confidence. He hasn't been a good leader, and he just hasn't been on the same page with his receivers at all, which I'm hoping he's able to turn the ship around, because that offense just has so much potential and their ceiling is through the roof. And collectively, I think they have the 3 best wide receivers in the league, and they can also dump it off to Kamara as well. Even Derek Carr said he's showing too much negative emotion, and as a team, if you see your quarterback showing all this negative emotion, it's going to affect everyone as a whole. And he also said he needs to be more of a calming influence and a better leader.
The slow start, I've been showing my emotion a little bit too much on my sleeve, I kind of got to chill out, and that's me holding myself accountable, because that's not going to help anything. And so just trying to be a calming influence in those moments, especially when it's been a couple of times it's happened, that heightened frustration. I could do a better job as a leader to calm everybody down. I say it before every game to the guys, we're not playing the scoreboard, we're playing against the standard. And our standard is this. If that's our standard, that's what we're playing against.
But honestly, it's a sense of urgency. Comes down to perfecting your craft. Like, you can't just go out there and think your craft is going to create success by, the play and knowing it and stuff, but you have to perfect it, and we have to become better. We have to become perfectionists at our craft. Honestly, that's what I think will help us the most. Every guy in here tries to perfect the little things in his craft. I think we'll have a different outcome.
My next quarterback pick is going to be Kirk Cousins, aka Kirk Out Chains, against the Packers this week. Cousins just had a primetime game where he struggled his whole career against the 5-1 49ers, who were one of the biggest Super Bowl favorites, and he went out, won the game, threw for 378 yards, completed 78% of his passes, and that's got to be a major confidence boost for him. Also forgot to mention no Justin Jefferson, and Jordan Addison was hurt throughout a lot of the game. So Cousins totally balled out, and he's got a lot of confidence going into next week. Next, I'm going to do 4 wide receiver sleeper picks for this week. First, I have Josh Downs, who was the rookie of the week last week, and he has been on fire. Him and Michael Pittman Jr. are becoming a damn good 1-2 punch. Now, the Saints definitely have a good secondary, but this guy has really been tearing it up. I didn't play him against the Browns last week, and that was a big mistake. He even got Rookie of the Week last week against the Browns, which is just crazy. My next wide receiver pick is going to be Zay Flowers against the Cardinals. He's had double-digit fantasy points in 6 out of 7 games, so he's been so consistent. And he's also had a carry in 5 out of 7 games, which is kind of wild. He's definitely Lamar Jackson's favorite guy. My third wide receiver sleeper pick is Kendrick Bourne, and the Patriots have been absolutely horrible, but he is leading all Patriots targets by 21, and he is definitely Mac Jones' favorite guy. The last 2 games, he's basically been in the entire game, and his snap count is just through the roof. My final sleeper pick is Rashee Rice, who's pretty much emerged to be the wide receiver 1 for Mahomes. We know Kelsey's his favorite target for sure, but Rice is definitely his wide receiver 1. And here's a stat that's actually pretty crazy for Rashee Rice that puts him in elite company. He is targeted on over 30% of his routes, and here's the other players who are on that list: Hill, Diggs, Ayuk, St. Brown, Adams, Nakua, and Brown. So he's on that list with those guys, which is pretty nuts. I'm going to do 3 running back picks for this week. First, we have Pacheco, who plays the Broncos, and they're just absolutely horrible. They've given up the most rush yards to offenses. They're also the worst team against running backs in fantasy. And Pacheco has 12 carries in the last 6 of 7 games, so he's getting his volume. He is bound to pop off against the Broncos. Next, I have Dameon Pierce against the Giants, who are 4th worst in yards per carry. They average 5 yards per carry. They are the 2nd worst opponent rank on fantasy, so they allow the 2nd most points to running backs. Pierce has just not looked good, man, but he's getting good volume. He has 11 carries in all 7 games that he's played, and his production just has not been good, but he's bound to break through for a good game, and he has a great opportunity this week against the Giants. My final running back pick, I have DeAndre Swift against the Commanders. Lately, his volumes looked really good. 17 receptions in the last 3 games, ton of PPR points. He's been doubling Gainwell's carries, and he gets 5.1 yards per carry, which is huge. And the Commanders also give up 4.4 yards per carry, which is the 10th worst in the league. So I'm expecting a big week out of him. Thanks for taking the time to watch this. Most importantly, I hope that you were able to take something important from this video. And if there's any way I can make my videos better informationally or more enjoyable to you guys, let me know in the comments. Thanks. Peace.